I am the possibility of communication, generosity, and joy. And that's who I am. And what I've been doing the last 20 years or so is training people in IT, productivity, and communication, especially when it's a breakdown. People are not talking to each other. I love that. Because obviously we feel that there's a possibility to fulfill somewhere there. And I'm just committed to that. I'm completely honored to be in this room. That talk was amazing. I understood the concept of it, but the economics and stuff is not my thing. So I'm really honored to be in this room and just talk to you, see if I can share something that's of value to you. So I also have an intense, so I've been training people, and been on stage also. I have an intense sideline in singing and acting and presenting and that kind of thing, which I love. And my dream is to work as a facilitator and a conference and debate moderator. That's something that I can see myself doing. And creating a family with someone, that's also one of my dreams. Okay. So I'm carving out a new role for myself in London. I'm from Sweden, but you haven't heard that yet, have you? So leadership as communication, or communication as leadership. I understand about more than 4 million books on Amazon.com about leadership. So obviously there is no consensus at all. And I've heard there is one key book in chemistry. So that area is kind of cut out. They know how that works. Leadership, that's why we will talk about it, yeah? And my flavor of it is communication. And I'm a lover of language. I am a thespian, and I think language is an art in itself, so I look at it etymologically. So, communication, in there you find the word commune. So for me, and this is my point, that's all of it, guys. Be together in the same space. Share another human being's world. Be in the same experience of how things look. That is what communication is. Sharing, clicking a button, sending you a message, or me speaking to you, I don't consider that communication. That is delivering something. Communication is that sense of commonality. Is that the word? Yeah. Okay, and in Sweden, municipality is actually, we use the word kommun. That's municipality. So we live together, whatever it's called here, right? I thought I'd share something about my background. I grew up on a farm in Sweden. I was running around the farmers, and I just remember the farmers poking around in the soil to see if it's dry enough, the spring sun, like they do these days. They did this, I remember, just see if it's dry enough so they can put the harrow in and start sowing and stuff. And after a while, they started doing that, and I got more and more into sitting in the tractor. And I was 8 years old when I was sitting there driving this tractor with a big harrow behind it. And it was quite exciting, given my dad had sold the tractor. He spoke to the farmers in a way so that he could make a living. And you got to speak to people in a way that it communicates with their language. And there's a saying in Sweden, tala till bönder på bönders vis. In English, that is, speak to farmers in farmers' language. And you got to be over there and really listen in what goes on there. If you're managing people, you got to be looking in what's going on in their office. Running in, a few days, a month or something. I don't know what kind of careers you're creating or have, but you got to be present to what the word is there, I'm thinking, yeah? Then you can communicate and actually make a deal. That's how my father did it. And he is amazing. The stories he shares, comical timing, I picked that up. Dialects, I love that. So I picked it up and then brought it into kind of also doing acting things and silly stuff. My mother, she's a choir singer, always was. I took that up too. And there is in my world, no more intense communication space than being in a choir. because you're listening to 4, maybe 6, maybe 8 parts. I've sung 32 parts once. That was weird. You got to key yourself into all of that, do the best of your ability with that thing, but it's actually a whole body. In tune, practice and everything, and sing in harmony with that. In sync, and will feel, and phrasing. Led by someone conducting the whole thing. It's an immense space of communication going on there. I think that since I was 17, that it trained me to be a lot about that, be sensitive to that, and I think we all are. My sister was having a soul and funk band, so I was all in that kind of stuff also. But anyway, I had a happy upbringing, and I did the choir thing, and I went to actor school because I thought it was fun. But I was always being an IT trainer, and later also in productivity and public speaking and things. But in 1997, in April, on a Tuesday morning, I was a complete jerk with a guy. I had been training morning and afternoon, morning, afternoon, morning, afternoon, with the same stuff for, I think, 2-3 weeks. It was just Excel and Excel, Microsoft Excel. I did Office and stuff, right? But this was just this, with some company doing the same old thing. And I was just looking at this guy, okay, speak, yeah. But I need to say this to you so you get it, so I can go on, right? This is my curriculum, yeah? Listen. I was a complete jerk. I didn't really emote it that way, but anyway, you get my point. Okay, I just give up. Yeah, you speak. And he spoke. And he, story, Office, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and then he connected a few dots with what the other guys have shared in the room. There were about 10 people in the room, or 12 or so. And then I connected with what I've said. There were pivot tables or whatever we did, or something, I don't know. And then he cleared, and then he spoke, and suddenly, and then he said, and I was amazed, I got it. And the access to him getting it was me shutting the hell up. Can you see that? Okay, I gave up. But I had to start to listen to him. And first of all, it was an accident. But you can train yourself to be active listening. You can listen for something. Listen for what you want to come up in the conversation. Not from here to there, but in the room. A dinner table. When you start to I want this conversation to go on. You can be in certain ways so that actually comes up, right? So the access to listening and be in the same commune. I never lived in a commune, I think that's funny, but anyway, I love the picture of it. The access to listening is giving something up about what you know and how things are. Or forgive someone for something. Connecting. Or accepting what's so. This is how it is. Okay, I get it. This is how it is. He is this way. She is this way. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to listen. And when you acknowledge the other person for having that particular view, or having an idea, this is how it is, or sometimes you just know how people are, they have some sort of a quirky thing and you just think they're just really annoying. Obviously, I also have those. When you just let people have that and acknowledge that that is there, all those things that were an obstacle seems to vanish. Their point of view is not important anymore for them because they were listened to. That's my experience. When you really give up that you know anything in how it is over there, communication starts to arise and you can have actually an expanding and a dynamic conversation. Commune. And when you do that, it actually starts to be a little fun. People start, I can feel that he feels what I'm feeling, and we kind of together. And allow yourself to be moved then. Push it a little bit. You're English, some of you. I'm Swedish. It's not common stuff. Don't go there. But I urge you to do that. Right? You can do that with your buddies. Now do that in a situation where it's not really comme il faut. Because that would bring some real joy of connecting. There is something possible there if you bring it. And turn up the volume of the immediate conversation. You know that thing that's between you and me without my words, not even my body? Yeah, it's kind of fun, isn't it? You can actually impact people really powerfully. And I think that's the beautiful thing. Yeah, she's smiling, and I think that's moving. Okay, but you got to own your own stuff. So you got to be aware of this thing. Your shit. Can I say that? You've done some trainings. I love what Ricky said, was it? Yeah? You know, you got to do some of the own work, and you've probably done that. Read some books, do some courses. I can, give you a sample. I've done quite a few kind of work. After the actor school in 2000, I put a lot of time into it. And it doesn't mean that I am better. I know what's not working when it's not working, because I have distinguished it. Not me, because that's self, right? But the thing, the amygdala in my brain that just, I don't want to go there. Because, or shut up, you. And when you're being a jerk, really jerk. When you can own that, you can train a self. That's a self-expression. And I've just created myself being possibility of communication, generosity, and joy. I don't know what you're creating, but I'd like to hear it. And when you speak, be responsible. And I just take it again, part again, etymologically, being able to respond. Responsible. Yeah, I know it's not spelled correctly. But I urge you to, if you want to have something to say, and I think you do, declare yourself responsible to the level of which you want to be able to respond. Did that communicate? Declare yourself responsible to the degree to which you want to be able to respond. Do you want to have a big impact on you and your love affair? It's not 50-50 then. No, it's 100. I don't know what you're creating, but I'm declaring 100% responsible for my part. And I think it works in business too. It's not guilt, it's not blame. It is just, I want to have power to say something about this. This is my life, this is my business, my relationship. So that's one part of communication for me. It gives me the power to speak from a place. And commune, be in the same space. That's communication for me. Be together in the same conversation. I get what you're saying, and you get that I'm getting what you're saying. That's a rich environment to communicate in. I think that works also when you're with a group. I have a sense of it's sort of present with some of you here also. And I'm also a little bit, careful here. But thanks for your listening. That's what I wanted to say. And, when you really bring that, you can be clear together. And there's no things going on. That's what I wanted to bring. And given that TEDx means, what does it mean? Tell me. I didn't hear it. You don't know what it means?
Technology, education, and design.
No, it doesn't mean that. Entertainment. I thought I'd give you something. I'm going to read the verse because I can't play that. You took my kisses and all my love. You taught me how to care. Am I to be just remnant of a one-sided love affair? All you took, I gladly gave. There is nothing left for me to save. Come on. All of me. Why don't you take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips. I wanna lose them. Take my arms. I'll never cry. Left me with eyes that cry. How can I go on, dear, without you? You took the part that once was my heart. So why not take all? I say, why not take all? Why not take all of me? Why don't you take all of me? Thank you very, very much. I enjoyed it a lot.